What's going on, my trainer club? We are going to check out how to clear bag space in Pokemon Go because we have a lot of events coming up. We have Community Day, we have Go Fest, we have other Go Fest, we have everything going on. So what I'm gonna do today is help you clean your bag up how I do it. So welcome to the trainer club. Here we go. Pretty early in the morning right now, guys, and my voice is echoing quite a bit. So right now what we're gonna do, and drop in the comments if you have trouble doing this, because we are all Pokemon trainers, we are all hoarders by nature. We are literally in our bag, we have 2,000 space. We're like, how can we fit as much stuff in here as possible, looking like Santa Claus, overflowing bag on Christmas trying to deliver presents. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna look at what are my top questions that I ask myself before I transfer Pokemon, and then I'm going to show you some of the Pokemon that I'm going to transfer. And I'm going to give you a warning right now. If you are afraid of transferring good Pokemon, if you are afraid of transferring legendaries, if you are afraid of seeing shinies get transferred, this video may not be for you, because I have a lot of Pokemon in here and some of them just have to go. I need more space. I want to have at least 500 spaces going to Pokemon Go Fest in Chicago. For the most part, when I transfer Pokemon, I never really like, oh, I really wish I didn't transfer that, except for the 2016 ones when they had legacy move sets. And to be honest with you, consciously, I don't even know if I had any of those guys. I honestly, it's so far in the past that I don't even remember. And the amount of like meta relevance for me, because I like to raid a lot, it's not super strong. And like a lot of times, like Lapras Day, we're getting some of the legacy moves coming back. So like we always have the chance to get these legacy moves. It's kind of sparse, and in between we don't really get it like all the time, but it is there and it does come. We've had the Body Slam Snorlax come back in the research, so we do have the opportunity to get these moves. So with that said, you don't have to be so incredibly fearful that you'll never get these Pokemon again, because there is always a chance that you could get it again. And if you don't have it, maybe somebody else has it, that when you become lucky friends you can trade it. So in my opinion, there's always going to be more, and there's always going to be another chance, and somebody's going to have it somewhere if you desperately need it and you're willing to trade for it. So I ask myself 5 questions. The 3 are kind of important. The other 2 are more of personal questions. So the number 1 question I ask myself is, am I ever going to max it? Am I ever going to power it up? Just think about that. If you're not willing to power this Pokemon up, like chances are like you can have some that are just trophies, which is perfectly cool, but you don't need like 1,000 trophies sitting in your bag. Like, let's be honest with you. We want to be functional, we want to be operational, and we want to be light. And operational and functional, in my opinion, is the fact that you need to have space in your bag to fully play on these community days. So you don't have to worry about like, ooh, I'm an hour in and I already got to delete some Pokemon, and then you're going through deleting Torchics, and maybe you wanted to trade for the Torchics. Like, just get the bag clean. I would suggest having at least 500 spaces. So 1,500 Pokemon you are able to have. So we're gonna have to start cleaning out some for some of you guys, especially for me, because I was getting close. Like, I was only having 100 left and it just was not working out. And I got super frustrated on the bag on day because I didn't do this proactively and I didn't get to have as many of the bag on. I literally deleted like a couple hundred bag on while I was playing that day, and I only kept about 120 or so because that's all the bag space I had, and some of those are shinies, right? So every community day we're adding like at least a few shinies to our bag typically, right? Maybe 5, 10, 15, 20. So we need to have that bag space. And then the number 2 question that I ask myself is the Pokemon going to be valuable for a trade? Like a Blastburn shiny Charizard would be something that's valuable. Something with a legacy moveset of really old is going to be valuable. But something like a Rayquaza right now is not going to be valuable. Maybe like a Moltres with Sky Attack, going to be valuable. These things that don't come about too often and people are looking for them would be valuable. Like any of the community day shiny evolutions with the exclusive move is going to be a valuable trade commodity for the future. So when you are trading with people, it is a good idea to have these because it gives you leverages. Like for me, I really want to delete some unknowns. I'm not going to lie. I really want to do so, but they're great trade leverages. Like, people love getting them because they are so incredibly rare. So fortunately, I've had the opportunity to get a ton of them, especially at like Go Fest and a couple other places, we have some in my bag, so I'm not gonna trade these guys away or transfer them, even though it could create some bag space for me. And then the third question that I always ask myself is this Pokemon going to be useful in the future? Will it be useful for something in the future? Looking at the later gens, you can always go and Google. This is what I do because, like I've told you guys, I was a Gen 1 head growing up, and literally after Gen 1, I'm just learning all of these Pokemon right now as we go, to be honest with you. So I always want to be transparent with you guys. So sometimes you guys will ask me a question about like a Gen 5, Gen 6 Pokemon, and I'm like, I need to go learn about that, right? So that's what makes me have a little bit more passion for it, because it's like new to me. It's so like fresh for me. So my knowledge for the future generations is not super strong. So if I'm like, is this Pokemon going to be useful in the future, right? And you have to think about it, like what's useful for you? Are you a PvPer, right? Because if you're a PvPer, the lower CP guys are gonna be a little bit more friendly for you if you're fighting in the Great League all the time. Or if you're a raider like me, right? Like I want some pretty powerful guys. Like, so my Giratina Origin forms are pretty useful for me, especially like right now we have Psychic guys. You know, when Mewtwo comes back out, we're going to have the Shadow Ball. The Giratina is going to be super effective against him, and that Tyrannitars, that's why I have so many maxed out Tyrannitars, because we were fighting Mewtwo all the time, because we would literally raid to get the raid pass for the EX every single week so that we could fight Mewtwo, because I really wanted to get better than a 96. Unfortunately, I didn't. 96 is still great, so I powered up 2 of them, and I'm waiting. I'll probably get some lucky ones when I get some more lucky friends, but the lucky friends are super scarce. So think about it, like, I'm not going to transfer my Shadow Ball Mewtwo. Super, super rare. Not a good idea to transfer those guys. Even if you have a ton of them, it's okay. But what I would transfer is some Groutons. I did like, what, 50, 60 raids? Like, I don't need 50, 60 raids sitting in my bag. That is my third question, and my other 2 questions are going to be a little bit more personable, right? Because this game is all about you and having fun for you. So I can give you my advice, but this advice for me is what works for me, because this is how I play the game. For me, what I ask myself is, do I really like this Pokemon? Like Lapras, it's really difficult, honestly, for me to transfer Laprases. I just absolutely love them. But when it comes time to make some bag space, I have to like kind of prioritize, like, okay, how many of these can I set that I want to keep, right? Because if we have like, what, 350, 400 Pokemon available right now with some of the ones that aren't available, let's say it's about 350. If you just keep 1 of everyone, that's 350 Pokemon. If you keep 2, that's 700. If you keep 3, we're talking 1,000, right? So we really, really have to prioritize what we are doing. And for myself, I'm a big proponent of like 100% IVs. It just kind of feels like my trophy. So for most of the Pokemon, under 100% IV, unless they're rare, like Gibble, like the Shieldon, or any of those other Pokemon that are pretty rare, that are newer generation, that I don't have 100% IVs are, maybe like the Cranidos as well, I will keep the highest IV that I have. And in my mind, I'm running, will I ever power this up? Because if I don't want to power it up, like me keeping it is just like me keeping it to keep it, right? Maybe I'll keep 1, but for me, it's not important to have like a living Dex, a living shiny Dex, a living lucky Dex. Like that doesn't do anything for me. And then the last question I'm going to ask myself is, if I transfer this, will I be upset with myself later that I transferred it? And the reason why I ask that is because, you know, you've transferred a Pokemon and later you're like, I really wish I wouldn't transfer that. Like if you have a hypothesis that a move could go into Legacy and you have a lot of those guys, maybe it's in your best interest to keep it. Or if you have a hypothesis that this Pokemon is going to be rare in the future because of the other generations coming out, right? Like Dratinians are pretty rare right now because of all of the newer generations that have to compete with the spots, because it's not like, oh, new generation, we're going to double the spawns. It's like, no, now we have to share the spawns with the new generations. As we get to 5, 6, 7, what's going to happen, right? So if I come up with more questions or I come up with other things, right? This is kind of a heavy topic, honestly, because this is what we play for. We play to collect, right? We're Pokemon collectors, we're Pokemon trainers. So if I come up with any other questions, I'm definitely going to pin it in the comments below. And if you guys have any suggestions of what questions to ask, definitely comment below and I will take them into consideration. And if they're good questions, I'll also include them in the pin, because I want you guys to be thorough. I want you guys to feel like you're not losing half of your soul when you're transferring some of these Pokemon. And I know sometimes it's going to feel like that, because the reality is we can't keep an infinity amount of Pokemon, which would be cool, but think about it. If your bag was so deep that you just have all these Pokemon that you were doing nothing with, like how would that actually benefit you? I don't know if it would, right? So this is why we have to strategize, and I don't know when there's going to be a bag increase, so we can't rely on that information because there has been no leaks about it, there has been no talks about it. I'm sure it'll come with some point, maybe Gen 5, right? But as of right now, it's 2,000, so 2,000 is what we got to work with. And the last thing I'm going to cover, I'm going to throw in one bonus question for you, is For me, I do a special trade every single day, right? And usually they're legendary Pokemon, and usually we try to get 3 candy per legendary. So if I'm siphoning that out in my mind, like right now, Azelf is cool, but I don't know how many Azelfs I'm going to be trading. So for me, I'm keeping maybe like 30 Groudon, maybe like 20 or so Rayquaza, because those are really powerful, effective Pokemon. I have some Dialga. I also have some Palkia. So those guys I'm going to keep to trade once per day. So if I'm thinking out into the future, I'm sure there's going to be shiny Rayquaza coming out at some point. I'm pretty sure that this summer, you know how the last summer they did Zapdos, Moltres, and Articuno? This summer they are going to sub that with the beasts, or the dogs, or whatever you want to call them, with the Raikou, Entei, and Suicune. So we're going to get more of those guys, which I am looking forward to. Those shinies. They're going to be awesome. I love those guys in general. Entei's a beast. Raikou's a beast. The only ones that are not quite a beast is Suicune, which is a little bit disappointing, but that's okay. So this is what we're going to do. Now we are going to get into me transferring Pokemon. So I am definitely going to be looking at my phone right now, because I'm going to go through, I'm going to be transferring some shinies. So if you don't want to see that, now would be the time to turn it off. I'm going to be transferring some good Pokemon. I'm going to be transferring some weather boosted legendaries and some legendaries in general. So if you don't want to see this, now would be the time to turn off this video and go watch another video, because we are going to get down, because I have to get my bag to 500. I need 500 space, right? There's no room for excess things that are sitting in there. And then one more question that we could ask ourselves is, do we have any friends that need a specific Pokemon that we're thinking about transferring? Because that would be good trade leverage, right? So you're always thinking about, like, who can I help? Who needs what can I do for this person? And if you're looking for something, you're like, you know, find that person that has it and be like, hey, what are you looking for, right? Like, I have 4 shiny Moltres, I think, and a friend is looking for a Sky Attack shiny Moltres. So boom, I have trade. And it's not like I'm going to transfer shiny Moltres, because they're super, super rare. Just think like that when you're going through your bag. All right, guys, so starting off, we have Totodile, and Totodile is not super useful, so I'm going to be transferring some shiny Totodiles. And I did get quite a bit of these, so I'm just going to check the IVs just to make sure. If you want to see the IV checking video, go ahead and check it out up here. But I just don't really see the need for these shiny Totodiles. They don't even have Hydro Cannon, so I need to transfer some shiny Totodiles. All right, we're going to do a couple more here, because I have a lot of these guys. Shiny Totodile seems good. Man, how many of these guys did I get? I have so many. And they're not super useful. Like, Totodile, he's a good Pokemon, but you have a Kyogre. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, when you're running through these guys, think about it. Is this guy super useful? Like, Hydro Cannon on a Feraligatr, pretty good. We can't get the moveset right now, so if I don't have him evolved, I can't get the moveset. And I have like 12 to 15, maybe 20 of these shiny Totodiles. Don't really need all of these guys. So I can go ahead and I can keep transferring these guys, because why not, right? Like, I don't need these Pokemon in my bag. So now we're going to scroll down, and I'm just sorting this by number so I can kind of see like the groups of the things. How about shiny Pichu transfer? Just kidding. All right. So we're going to go ahead and transfer this Pichu. Don't necessarily need this. I'm going to keep the hat ones. I always suggest keeping the Pichus with the hats. They're pretty rare. Maybe we can transfer that Togepi right there. Yeah, let's do that. 368. Don't necessarily need it. Gonna keep going. Like I said, just keep those high IVs. If I have a 374 Togepi, I don't need another one. Check out this Mareep. I'm gonna see how many Mareeps I have. I didn't get a super ton of shiny Mareeps, so I'm gonna keep that. Got the Ampharos. This is a good way to do it, because then you can see the clumps of the Pokemon. Like, I have a lot of Ampharos, and I kind of want to transfer them, but I don't at the same time. So there's a Azumarill that I have. I'm going to check this out. So I just evolved this guy just to get a Lucky. So I don't really need this Politoed right now. Even though it's a Lucky, I did it in the Dex. Never going to power that guy up, like I said. So he's not super useful. Go ahead and transfer that guy. Check out this HP attack, really strong, so that's a 93. I'll keep that, why not? And so I know I have a decent amount of these Lucky Yanmas, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to check them out and see what their IVs are. HP defense, so that one might be a 98. HP, okay, that one's pretty decent. I'm looking for one that says the stats are strong. Oh, there we go. So I'm going to transfer this one, right? Because I'm not going to power it up. What's the point of having 6 Lucky Yanmas, even if they're all 6 Yanmegas? Like, am I really going to power these up? So there's another 93. That's kind of funny. I'm going to transfer that because it's kind of low. And I'm not really into like saving any of the numbers. Let's check this one, HP strong. So there we go. So anytime I go through and it says strong, like that's a pretty good indicator I'm going to transfer it, because the top stat of all of them is in the 14. So, and we're going to transfer that 96 as well. I'm not going to power it up. It doesn't really matter to me, because I'm pretty sure that 1131 is a 98%. So here we go, HP attack defense. So we're not going to transfer that 100% Espeon. Let's keep going. Shiny Murkrow. Okay, so all these Murkrows are 100% IVs. The reason I'm checking is because I usually put a dot in front of them and some of these don't have it. So, okay, so we have I'm going to double check this because that's kind of weird. I have 100% Lucky Misdreavus, all right? And then we have attack defense. Stats are really strong, so I'm going to transfer this Misdreavus. Don't really want it, never going to power it up, so for me, why keep it? I don't want to keep it. So yeah, here's the unknowns that I'm talking about. I have mixed feelings about going through some of those. I've actually transferred some of those, like the C. You get those in Chicago every year. Like everybody has an unknown C, I'm telling you. If you don't, then just find somebody that went to the Go Fest and in Chicago and you'll have that. So we're going through Heracrosses. I like these guys, so I'm not going to transfer any of those. I know I have some shiny Swinubs. Yeah, look at all those shiny Swinubs. We're not going to power these guys up, like ever. And everybody has shiny Swinubs, so they're not super valuable in trades, right? So I need to get rid of some of these shiny Swinubs. So we're going to go ahead and just check the IVs. Just want to make sure that I'm not transferring a good IV shiny Swinub. You can always trade it with a lucky friend, so don't be too worried about this, because most of the shinies aren't good IVs, right? Maybe you have 1 or 2 good IV shinies, but the key is that they have the Legacy Community Day moveset, and then you can trade it for lucky friends. All right, so we're gonna keep scrolling down here. Like I said, I'm just looking for clumps of Pokemon like these Houndooms. They look like, man, should I transfer one of these 100% Houndooms? I don't know. If I need to, I'll come back to those guys, because I don't ever use them, to be honest with you. I just don't ever use them. So stats are really strong on this Phanpy. Gonna go ahead and transfer that lucky Phanpy. Like I said, are you gonna use it? Are you gonna power it up? I have a 96. I don't need 3 lucky Phanpys, I just don't. Smeargle, let's check these guys out. Okay, really strong. Don't need it, transfer it, right? Like, this is how I do it. I'm a little ruthless with my bag, honestly. I know it's a little hard for some of you guys to see, but it's just gotta happen. Like, we're not gonna use these guys. Do I need to smooch them? Look, I have a 729 and I have a 715. I don't need the 715. Everybody hatches smooch them, so we're gonna transfer it, right? This is how I do it. This is literally what I go through. Blissies, I like the Blissies. I only have 5 of them. Raikou, most of these guys are pretty good IVs, so I'm probably not gonna transfer any of those guys. So look, I only have like, what, 6 of those? I've done 225 Entei raids. I've caught like 125. Now here comes the part you guys might not wanna see. So we're transferring this Larvitar. Let's check out this shiny Larvitar. And what am I going to do with this thing? Ever? Am I really going to power this thing up? No. Do people want shiny Larvitars? Maybe, but I have a lot of them. I have better CP ones. So I have this 98 Larvitar. Sorry guys. There is where you guys might want to close your eyes if you're watching this video. And so yeah, here we go. Transfer. I already have 10 maxed out Tyrannitars that are 100% IVs. So if that makes you feel any better. So I think this one might be a 98. Not gonna do that one. So let's continue on. There's all my Tyrannitars. Got the shinies with the moves. I wasn't evolving a ton back then. So we have the Lugias, Ho-Ohs. That looks like way too many Ho-Ohs. Let's go ahead and check out some of these guys. Check out this 2142. Okay, we're gonna transfer that. I'd like to get a lucky shiny Ho-Oh. That would be cool. That might be on my trade list, because I have a maxed out Lugia. I don't have that. No, we don't want to power that guy up. We want to transfer him, right? So we're going to keep going. It looks like I have, okay, attack, really strong. So I'm going to transfer that. Anytime I go to these legendaries and I see really strong, unless I know somebody wants it, I'm just going to transfer it. So I have a couple Tricos. Okay, I'm going to transfer this super low guy. I'm not going to power it up. I don't know any of my friends that want that. They're going to power it up. So this is just what we do. These are the questions that I'm running in my head. Just ask yourself good questions when you're going through this. I know it can be painful sometimes, but separate it, move on. Tomorrow you're not even going to remember that you did this. So I have a ton of lucky Torchics. I'm just going to check these guys out. So that guy might be a 98. The other thing I do is I check the IV. It was in between an 88 and a 96. And like, just thinking about it for myself, like I said, I mean, these guys are traded. if I'm not going to power them up, what's the point of keeping them? Like, really, what's the point of evolving them? What's the point of keeping them? Just so I can look at them and they can take up space in my bag? Like, we're trying to go to Go Fest with some pretty good bag space because I'm ready to get some sweet Pokemon, right? We have some Mudkips in here. Let's check these guys out. I already have my Marsh Stomp for PvP. He's a beast. So that one's just decent. It's a low CP. I don't really want it. Gonna transfer it. Gonna check this Marsh Stomp out here. Let's see, HP, really strong. Don't need it. Just don't need it. Next, I got a bunch of lucky Lotads. I'm going to transfer some of those. 248, don't need it. Don't even care what it is, transfer it. Because I have higher CP ones that are higher IV ones. Don't need all of these guys. I'm not gonna max them out. What's the point of having 5 lucky Lotads that you're not gonna max out? So attack, defense, really strong. That is a definite go. So we're gonna transfer that one. Whoa, I got a lot of Phoebus here. So we're gonna check this out. So I'm gonna transfer some of these. I don't even wanna check that one out, honestly. I'm just transferring it. So we have, let's check this one out. I know 111 is okay, really strong. Definitely gotta go. Don't care about that one. Because I know the 117, so I have a 96 already. So let's check this one out. Defense stats are really strong. I am not going to keep that one either. Like I said, am I gonna power it up? No. Do I even wanna evolve it? No. Do I even wanna walk it to be able to evolve it? No. What's the point of keeping it? And so now we're gonna go onto some Groudon. We are going to transfer. So what I do is I go from my highest CP to the lowest CP. I sort it, and then I'm gonna start transferring some of these guys. So I don't need these Groudons, honestly. Like, I have 50 of them. We're not gonna trade 50 Groudons. There's a chance that another legendary is gonna come out that I'm gonna start wanting to trade. So I just look to see how many I have. Okay, so I know that I wanna transfer about 10 of these guys, honestly. I don't need all these Groudons in here. So we are going to go, and I already did a lucky trade for a shiny Groudon. So I have the shiny lucky Groudon and I already maxed it. So I'm pretty happy about that. I have another friend that I'm going to trade another shiny when we get lucky friends as well. So I have those guys stacked up. I'm not gonna power up any of these guys. And the other thing that I have is I have a bunch of these Latios. You see I have that shiny lucky already, so I'm going to be transferring. So I kind of just like gauge. I look real quick, see how many I have, and I kind of pick the point of where I want to transfer to. And I go, I saw the shiny, so I'm just going to transfer all these Latios up to the shinies. Unfortunately, you have to do it one by one, but fortunately, you can't delete these guys on accident, which is a big problem. That's how I do it. If you guys have any other suggestions that you do it a different way, drop in the comments below. But the number one thing we want to do is make sure we have bag space. In my opinion, I want 500. I want to be going into Go Fest and I don't want to be like, what do I delete? You know, like last year they had the Torkoal regional, so I wanted to come away with a bunch of those guys to trade with some of my friends. So that's what we're gonna do, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit that sub button so I can keep providing you more and more content and value in every video that I have. And I appreciate you guys being a part of the Trainer Club. I will see you out on that next video. Peace.